What's up? Wagwan. I'm gonna show you how to make Jamaican cow foot. And this cow foot recipe, everyone love it in Jamaica. Open your cupboard and your fridge, grab your ingredients, and let's make this recipe. I'm gonna go over all of the ingredients. I am using 4 pounds of cow foot, and I already washed the cow foot using vinegar, so it's nice and clean. 2 cups of broad bean. I cannot make cow foot without broad bean. I already washed the broad bean and I have it soaking in water with 2 cloves of garlic. I am using 1 tomato, 1 sweet pepper, 1 large onion, 2 cloves of garlic, green onion, thyme. I am using 1 tablespoon of meat seasoning, 1 tablespoon of beef seasoning, 1 tablespoon of all-purpose seasoning, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, and also I added 1/4 teaspoon of pimento berry, 1 tablespoon of orange spice. And I have the seasoning already mixed out. I am going to cut up the sweet pepper, the green onion, the thyme, the tomato, and the onion, and also the garlic. And this is all I'm gonna use to cook down the cow foot. I already chop up a small onion and some green onion, and this is what I'm gonna use when I'm seasoning the cow foot. I'm gonna cut up the garlic and I'm gonna add them inside there. 2 cut. And the ginger. And all of the thyme. I'm gonna add seasoning to the cow foot. And I'm just gonna add some of the seasoning. You don't want to add all of the seasoning because when they're cooking down the cow foot, you need some seasoning to cook it down. I'm gonna add the fresh thyme, onion, green onion, and ginger with the garlic. And last but not least, the browning. And you can use any browning of your choice. The common rule is you add browning a tip at a time. And I'm gonna go in and massage the browning with the seasoning into the cow foot. Now I'm gonna add some more browning. And this is the right amount of browning. The cow foot is finished seasoning. I'm gonna place a cover on and I'm gonna let it sit for 15 minutes. Now I'm gonna boil the broad bean. And always when you season stuff, you always wanna let it sit and marinate for 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm gonna start boiling the broad bean. I have a pot onto the stove. And I'm gonna add the broad bean. And I'm gonna turn the stove on. And I'm gonna let the broad bean come to a boil before I add water into it to sink it, just like you're cooking normal red peas. Sinking is just the peas gonna float when it starts boiling because the peas is dry. Now that the broad bean is boiling, I'm gonna add some cold water. I'm gonna add salt, just 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm gonna mix it in. I'm gonna do a taste to check the salt level. And that's the right amount of salt. So I'm gonna place the cover on. I'm gonna let it cook. Now I'm getting ready to fry up the cow foot. I have my pot. I'm using the convection stove. I added 1 cup of cooking oil into the pot just to cover the bottom of the pot. And I'm gonna turn on my convection stove. And I'm gonna turn it to the high settings. I'm gonna wait until the oil is hot before I add the cow foot. Now that the oil is hot, I'm gonna start adding the cow foot pieces into the oil. Now I finish adding all the cow foot pieces and I leave all the green seasoning behind, and you don't want to throw away this. This is critical for when you're cooking down the cow foot. I'm going to place the cover on. I want to let the cow foot fry up in the oil for 20 minutes. I let the cow foot fry up for 20 minutes and I constantly check on it. And this is the color after finish frying up. So now I'm going to cook down the cow foot. First, I'm going to drain the oil. I add 6 cups of water into the bowl with the leftover seasoning. Now I'm going to add it into the pot, and this is warm water. I'm going to place the cover on and I'm going to let it come to a boil. And this is when you want to check the level of seasoning, because this is going to cook it down to the final stage. Water evaporate, we have to add more, so always have boiling water ready. Now that the pot is boiling, I'm going to stir, and also I'm going to do a taste. Now I'm going to add seasoning. And this is why I always tell you to always save some of the seasoning. And if you notice, I don't cook with salt in this kitchen because most of the seasoning that I'm using have salt already in it. Now I'm going to do another taste. I'm going to add some more. I don't have to taste it this time. Cow foot take 2.5 hours to cook when you're cooking it this way. If you're using a pressure cooker, it takes 45 minutes to pressure. But I'm not using a pressure cooker, so I'm going to place the cover on and I'm going to set my timer for 2 hours. Now we are at the 2-hour mark, and as I stated before, make it go for 2 hours. It takes 2.5 hours to fully cook, so we're gonna use the 30 minutes. This is when we're gonna do more seasoning. Now I'm gonna do a taste. So I have more of the seasoning into this bowl with pimento. I'm gonna add some into the pot, and also I'm going to add a tablespoon of brown sugar. I'm going to do a taste now. Perfect. I'm also going to add half a cup of ketchup. Now I'm gonna add onion, tomato, green onion, and sweet pepper. Follow up by the broad bean. Now I'm going to place the cover on, and remember, 30 minutes to go. Now it's been the final 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm going to check on the cow foot and I'm going to stir. I'm going to shut the stove off and I will see you all for the taste test. Now I have my cow foot on a plate, and this is well plated, and I serve it with rice and peas. Remember, it takes 2.5 hours to fully cook. If you have a pressure cooker, it will be done in an hour. Now I'm gonna go in for the taste test. And I'm gonna try some of the gravy with the rice and peas. I have to stop right there. I know you all are hungry. I want you guys to follow everything in this recipe. Go and make this, and I'm gonna take my plate off the screen. And guys, see you on the next one.